guys, welcome back to QTube. Today we're with me, Tibby, and we're going to be making banana bread while I complain about how much I hate Jinsey. So this video kind of started as an idea with Milo like 2-3 months ago. And he made his, and I was always going to make mine, but I live with 5 other people, so this is like the first time in all those months that I've actually had the house to myself. And I don't even think I'd do it. I think 2 of my housemates are here, so they could interrupt at any moment. Anyway, I'm going to be using a banana bread recipe from allrecipes.com.au. I haven't done my makeup for this video because I don't know you guys shit. But I put lipstick on because I have a lot of lipstick and I need to use them all up. And I'm also filming this on my Mac because, again, what do I owe you people? Okay. So I've got pretty much everything laid out so far. I've got my oven preheating. I've got my greased tray over there. I am also going to be drinking in this video because I'm an unemployed 22-year-old in the middle of a pandemic, and this is what I get to do with my life. There is vodka in this. I'm not just drinking OJ. Anyway, so to start, got my bowl. I've got like 3 bowls actually. We don't have one big mixing bowl. You will also have to deal with the sounds of my washing machine. Anyway, it's my preparation, so let's get started. So before I get into the ins and outs of why I dislike Nancy, I do want to clarify that I genuinely like both characters, despite what common belief seem to say. I enjoy both. I think they're both good people. If you know me at all, you know I love a good old gay homophobe. I need to say that I personally, as someone who likes Jonathan, cannot get over the whole taking a photo of Nancy half naked without her consenting. I know she's forgiven him for it. I know that he, as he is in the show, is not a bad person, and he was just a 15-year-old making some stupid choices. But I can't move past it, and I'm sorry for that, and if that causes controversy, then that causes controversy. Second of all, I really do read both of them as very, very gay. And look, here's headcanons. I know, and I'm aware that headcanons don't actually have any impact on other people's choices when it comes to who they stand or ship or whatever. So I'm not going to say, oh, just because I think this, you have to think it, because you don't. It's why even if we did have all the other issues, I would not be able to get behind them as a couple. But yeah, I don't see it. You know, it is sad because Charlie and Natalie are dating in real life. But you know, it's grassroots syndrome. If you date in real life, you have no chemistry on screen. And again, it's totally my opinion. I'm not saying that anyone else can ship them because of it. It's just my take. So yeah. But aside from the lack of chemistry, the gayness, and the photos, I actually enjoyed their dynamic in season 1. Even if I can never get behind it romantically, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Gay people deserve to have friends too. You know, it's good for them, truly. So, season 2 is set in October 1984. Season 1 is set in October. It's set in November 1983. So that's 11 months when Jonathan and Nancy did not talk to each other. Like, they're not friends. You see Jansies all the time, you're like, oh, they're a slow burn friends to lovers. They're not friends. They talked 5 times in 1 year, did not talk for an entire year, and then hooked up. That's not slow burn, it's not friends to lovers. That's just 2 traumatized teens are trying to make their way in the world, which is fine. But here's my other issue with season 2. It's the scene when they're sleeping in the same room, and then she's like, oh, why didn't you talk to me? After everything, he's like, are you with Steve? And she's like, oh, I waited for you. Okay, here's the issue with that. The epilogue of season 1 is December 1983. So that means, and Nancy's already back together with Steve by that point. So that means she, 1 month after Jonathan's brother died, decided to be like, hey, are you going to go with me or not? As many of you know, I have seen the Jonathan and Nancy car fight scene countless times. I think it's very amusing. I think it's great acting. It's a good time. However, you cannot do that scene, as the show did, in which they very clearly admit that they do not understand each other, and then be like, wow, we are not going to resolve this argument. Because they didn't. They did not resolve that argument. And look, it's the thing, they're two traumatized teenagers, they come from different worlds, it's very understandable. They wouldn't understand what each other is going through, and I don't think that's the issue. The issue is that they don't resolve it. They're like, no, we don't understand each other, we're not going to talk about this process, but also for our girl boss moment, we're going to make Nancy completely in the right for disregarding her boyfriend's property, and he'll apologize to her, but he won't apologize for ignoring the misogyny she went through, he'll apologize for not believing her story. Which, side note, I don't want to be a misogynist, but if I was the editor of a newspaper and two teenage interns came up to me and started talking about rats, I would also not believe them. That doesn't mean I'm a jerk who hates women. I mean, I am, but it's separate from this. That just means I have common sense, and I don't have time for this bullshit. And also, as somebody who's been an intern, having to do coffee runs is also not misogyny. And Jonathan has actually worked with this camera for years. He probably has, a portfolio, maybe even some references. What the fuck has Nancy done besides write the school paper? Do school papers even matter? Because they didn't matter at my high school. All I'm saying is, maybe it was partly misogyny, but also just, maybe Nancy just wasn't qualified. And maybe that's the conversation we need to be having. But I digress. So yeah, they don't resolve that argument, and it's a pretty big argument considering they had two 17-year-olds. And yeah, they don't resolve it, and you cannot have a relationship, call it super duper romantic, and then not resolve shit like this, because it's important things that they need to discuss. They base their entire relationship on shared trauma, and here's the thing. They do have shared trauma, I'm not going to deny that. But you cannot base an entire romance on that when you don't seem to actually engage or like each other outside of that. And also, the thing is, their trauma is not just limited to what went down with the monster. Nancy has a lot of guilt regarding Barb, a lot of issues from her parents' failed marriage. And Jonathan does have trauma from growing up poor with an abusive father. And they don't seem to actually ever, help each other with these things. Just have that one conversation in the woods. And that Nancy, again, mocks Jonathan for his poverty and growing up with an abusive father when she calls him Oliver Twist. So it's comedy gold, but also a fucked up thing to say. Sorry, I'm trying to get this shell piece out of my egg mixture. And then, Jonathan just does not seem to understand Nancy and where she's coming from. And, look, here's the thing. Neither did Steve. Steve never deliberately set out to hurt Nancy. And I don't think it's fair to be well, Steve being better with the bubs, and even though Jonathan only, kind of gets it, she's going to go with it instead because, that's sheer trauma. And also, if it was just based on the monster thing, it really makes sense that neither of them ever talks to Steve, ever. So that's why I think the shared trauma thing is bullshit, because pretty much everyone within the main ensemble has shared trauma with each other. None of the others are basing their relationships on it, and it's not a healthy basis for relationships. And also, it's just really fucking stupid. You cannot show us why this couple doesn't work, and then be at the end of every season. We get that you didn't get laid in high school, Duffer Bros, but a lot of us didn't. And we went on to writing revenge fantasies. We got over it. This is in part of the fact that the Duffer Bros do not care for writing any of these characters, so they don't actually have many personality traits of interest. And again, it's to do with the fact that the show only focuses on the weeks when all the shit is going down, so, we don't know what they do in their free time. But given the way they act, I don't think they talk to each other about anything else in their free time. I think they enjoy the fact that they get hung once towards the because it means they can pretend that they still like each other. And, I get it, we've all been repressed in high school, but, at least Beard was someone you liked. And I guess this leads into one of my other big issues with Sanji is that it's just high school wish fulfillment. I'm sorry. But as someone who likes Jonathan and someone who likes Nancy, they are very clearly the toughest self-concern and projecting the guilt that rejected them in high school. The fact that Jonathan and Nancy don't even seem to like each other is proof that there's a reason that those relationships never work out in real life, and why those girls would never go for those boys, because they're not good together. They don't care about each other. They don't like each other. It's just, why? Also, I guess, let's be real, the heart of the show, besides Ethel, I guess, is the Byers family. They were the driving force in the first 2 seasons. There's a driving force now They were driving force in the first 2 seasons, and they should still be the driving force, but they're not, because the Duffers care more about, like, 14-year-old dramas and poorly developed romances than actually focusing on the family that drives the show. Like, Jonathan even talked to Will in season 3, because I don't think he did. And he had, like, one conversation with his mother in the very first episode, like, just a guy who is family-oriented and who always has been, and that's his, like, redeeming quality. And they're like, no, he's not actually going to know that he has family anymore, because he's too busy having unsatisfied missionary sex with this lesbian that hates him. Leading on from Jonathan being family-oriented is, I think, the problem with Jonathan and Nancy, at its heart, and why they're not going to be a long-lasting relationship, no matter how much the show and its fans try to convince us, is that they want completely different things out of life. And look, that's not a bad thing. It's not unusual to date someone in high school and not want the same things out of them and to break up later. And they're confused, they're traumatized, they're closeted in the 1980s. I think it makes sense that they're together right now, even if, you know, they don't like each other and they have nothing in common. But I cannot force myself to believe that when this show ends, that they're going to live happily ever after. Because here's the thing. Jonathan is family-oriented, and that's fine, that's good. He puts his family first, and I think if it came down to it, you know, if he had to choose between having a family and having a career, I firmly believe that he would pick family. Nancy, on the other hand, would pick career. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I am someone who doesn't ever want children because I know I would be a terrible mother and I'd be too focused on my career. So I stayed in complete solidarity with her. But you cannot have a long-lasting relationship into adulthood when you have careers and jobs and, you know, children, when you both want fundamentally different things out of life. Like, I love Nancy. She's very fun to me. I think she's a good person. She would make a terrible mother. And I'm not saying that, like, as opposed to Jancy. I'm saying that she complains about the suburban lifestyle idea. She doesn't know how to handle her 2 younger siblings. She has moments of being incredibly selfish and insensitive, which, again, not a complaint. God bless her heart. And not even Betty and Jughead, because at least Betty and Jughead are friends who like each other. Like, say what you will about Bughead and their queer platonic fake beauty and gay man lesbian relationship. When Jughead talks about how FB was a shitty dad to him growing up, Betty never told him to get over it. Oliver Twist routine. I've seen a lot of Jancy's saying that Jonathan is better for Nancy than Steve or whoever, because Jonathan sees her for who she really is and loves her for that. Except he literally doesn't. Like, they literally have an argument about it in the first season. Like, she calls him out in it. Jonathan may understand Nancy better now that they've been dating for a year or so, but I doubt it considering they don't seem to, like, talk or like each other. But he had very, very wrong ideas about who she was based on who he wanted her to be. He did not know her really well, he did not understand her, and she rightfully called him to task for it. So why are you taking that away from them and being like, actually no, they've always fundamentally understood each other? Because they haven't. Adding some dark chocolate chips, really going ham on this banana bread. And I guess that's all I have to say is it's a poorly written relationship. It doesn't do anything for either of the characters. They don't seem to like each other out of hunting monsters and being pretentious. They don't understand each other. They want different things out of life. And they're gay people with absolutely no chemistry. Anyway, I'm gonna pop this in its pan and then put it in the oven, let it cook for some time. But yeah, thanks for watching my incoherent ramblings about the worst couple to Grace House screens that isn't directly abusive or whatever. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and, you know, a new video might be posted by me or one of the others sometime soon, but who knows, QuilTube does not have a regular posting schedule, as you may have noticed. And if you've got any other things you want me to rant about, any other things you want me to bake, or you just want me to tell me to go fuck myself, or kill myself, or whatever it is my haters are saying these days, you know, either leave a comment or hit me up on my Tumblr ask box, and I may or may not get back to you.